says, Shimmy says, Shimmy, Shimmy, Shimmy says, ask me almost anything.
Hey everyone, it's Shimmy, and welcome to this week's Shimmy Says. Hey, just a heads up, Shimmy Says, as you know, is live on Thursdays, but I've got a second Shimmy Says that's coming at you tomorrow, Friday, so stay tuned for that at 2:30 Eastern Time as well. But for today's Shimmy Says, I wanted to talk about something, and you may or may not agree with me. I think a lot of you are going to agree with me. You know what? I hear a quack quack in the background. And that, thanks, Paul, for the duck. But, you know, there's that old saying, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's usually a duck. And I'm talking about the AI market that we find ourselves in, where it's sucking the air out of everything and dominating every conversation, whether, you know, especially in tech. But everyone you talk to is, you know, AI, what's going on with AI? Is it going to take my job? How's it going to change things? I can't wait. I can wait. I don't think it'll ever come. I've lived through a bunch of different bubbles in my life. The first bubble that I remember as an adult was in the 80s. It was real estate. Everybody was buying as much real estate as you could for as no money down. Savings and loans were giving out mortgages like water. You know, the no income verification, no money down. It was crazy. And everyone kept saying, well, no, it's the new normal. We're in a new paradigm. You know, the thing about real estate, God doesn't make it anymore. And so buy whatever you can. I knew we were in trouble because one time at the time, so I was in my 20s, I'm in New Jersey, and the funny thing about New Jersey, I think it's still like this, you can't pump your own gas. They got a guy who comes and pumps the gas. And I'm listening to the guy who pumps the gas talk to a friend of his, and they're talking about buying a 3-family brownstone somewhere in Jersey City or something. And I'm thinking to myself, these are two 20-something-year-old kids who pump gas for a living. What are they doing buying a 3-family brownstone in Jersey City? And I said, that's a good sign of a bubble, right? When people like that are participating, it's usually because the real people with money have taken their money out already. And sure enough, boom, we hit a bit of a recession. Interest rates went sky high. And you know what? Real estate went down. A lot of people took a bath. They had foreclosures. They were upside down in their condos and co-ops in New York and everywhere else. And it was a bubble. And a lot of people got left holding that bag. The next bubble I saw in my life was the dot-com bubble. And for this one, I was fully in with both feet. Right, I had started a company that became a hosting company. I sold it to a company that was a roll-up in the hosting company, in the hosting space, but turned into an ASP and a managed infrastructure provider. We went public just 2-3 months before the bubble burst. And it was the same thing. It was the same exact thing. Everyone said it was a new normal, a new reality that, yeah, it looked pretty explosive and bubblish, but it's, you know, get used to it. This is what it is. And I was guilty, right? Buying stocks in the morning, selling them in the afternoon and making money every day. All these stocks I thought were going to put my kids through college. And it was the same thing as the gas station story. One day I'm in the airport flying somewhere or another, and there's 2 people across from me who were waiting at the gate. 2 guys, they looked like farmers. They were in like overalls, denim overalls and stuff. And I hear them talking about the relative merits and cash to profits ratio and EBITDA of Yahoo. And I think it was Priceline. And I said to myself, if these 2 guys who aren't sophisticated at all are day trading like this in internet stocks because they can't lose, they think, it's time to get out. And sure enough, just a few weeks, months after that, the dot-com bubble crashed and crashed big. Interesting thing about that dot-com bubble crash. Right before it, we were in this place where everyone was saying, we don't have enough data centers for all of these dot-com servers we're going to need. Because back then we were putting up servers. There was no cloud. You were rack mounting servers. We need more data centers. Oh, and these T1 lines and DS3 lines are not enough. We're going to need more bandwidth, and we got to light up fiber. And we had all these fiber companies that were, they were building fiber and laying fiber like mad. And then the dot-com bubble burst. And you know what? I remember that was maybe 2000, going into 2001. It took 10 years for us to use up the excess capacity that was built during the dot-com days and then not used when the bubble burst, for us to use that excess capacity of fiber and data centers and stuff like that, bandwidth and data centers. Today, I'm hearing the same things. We're building data centers. There's not enough data center space. We got to build AI factories. We're pledging $1.5 trillion with a T, $1.5 trillion to AI factories and data centers. And we're talking about building new nuclear power, and we're using as much solar and hydroelectric power. Crap, we'll fire up coal plants if we have to. And we're going to run all these data centers that are going to need all this energy. Oh, and we can't air cool these data centers. That's how hot they run. We need liquid cooling and everything that brings. And I'm thinking, and we just can't build them enough. 75% of the data centers under construction today are already spoken for. AI is going to change everything. It's taking your job, my job, their job, and the next job. And we're putting in billions, trillions of dollars into AI. We're firing people in the name of AI. We're saying there's going to be no more junior developers, and AI is going to change this, that, and the other thing. In the meantime, I've seen 2 reports in the last couple of weeks, one out of MIT and one from McKinsey. McKinsey was the conservative one. They said 80% of generative AI projects have added 0 to the bottom line. MIT says 95% of the projects they tracked have added 0 to the bottom line. So I ask you, are we in a bubble? We are. Now, here's the good news. Just because we're in a bubble doesn't mean that AI is not valuable. It doesn't mean that AI may one day live up to the hopes, dreams, and aspirations we have for it, just as the internet has, just as the dot-com way of doing business has, the digital transformation. It took a pandemic. It took a lot longer than we thought or we expected or we were building for, but we did. And today we do need more fiber and data centers and so forth. But it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to happen overnight with AI. No matter how much money we're spending, no matter how much hype and oxygen we feed this fire, AI is not going to do everything we want it to do today or even tomorrow. Maybe in a couple of years from now, but not today and tomorrow. And I don't blame AI for it, right? I blame the expectations and Alan Greenspan called it in the dot-com days, the irrational exuberance that we're seeing around AI. That's just what this is, irrational exuberance. And it doesn't mean that, AI is not real powerful and is going to get there. Heck, even Sam Altman from OpenAI questions or says, we might be in an AI bubble. So, having lived through these bubbles before, what's Shimmy's advice to you? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't stop doing AI. Keep doing AI. Stay on top of it. Use it where it's helpful. Use it where it makes sense. But it's not a panacea. It's not going to do everything they say it's going to do today or in the near term. And keep doing what you're doing. Because when that bubble bursts, you want to make sure you have a chair to sit in when the music stops. So when you hear that duck quacking and walking like, it's not an Aflac commercial, it's the bubble bursting. This is Shimmy. Stay tuned tomorrow for my show on CISO Payola, another thing we need to talk about.
Shimmy says, Shimmy says, Shimmy, Shimmy, Shimmy says, ask me almost anything.